Sometimes even when somebody is broke in Nairobi, I'm like, is it that you don't want money? Because you can literally find money anywhere you go.
Action. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Founder Diaries. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe on whatever platform that you're watching or listening to this to, and share this with a friend. I'm so excited to have this conversation, especially because we know her from a different light, but I really want to pick her business mind. So welcome to
Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
Hi guys, should I introduce over there? Hi guys, my name is Murugi Munyi. I am a content creator. I am an entrepreneur. I am a founder. I like that word. It just makes it seem so serious. I'm a founder. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a baddie. I'm a girl, just a girl. And I'm happy to be here. And I'm Yvonne's friend.
Most important.
Mostly that one. Yeah.
All right. As I mentioned, a lot of us have interacted with you as the content creator. I feel like that's the one thing you maybe done the longest, but your business mindset is actually what I really wanted to pick. So first of all, walk us through your entrepreneurial journey. What businesses have you done in the past? Like literally from your first one, because I know there are so many. And which ones do you still own today?
Oh my God. I feel like I've been in business for as far back as I can remember in my adult life. So my first real business I started when I was in university. I was a young mom. I got my son when I was pregnant with him when I was 19. I was 20 when I gave birth to him. And I was in USIU at the time. And my parents were supportive. So they still continue to pay for my university fees. They would pay my rent, pay for my nanny. And then they would give me a bit of pocket money on the side. But of course, now when you're young, I was like trying to get my footing. I didn't want to be another statistic of teenage pregnancy. So I was just like, okay, what can I do to be able to make money? That time I was living in Roysambu, which is just close to USIU. So there was a lady in just near where I lived. I don't know if you've been to Roysambu, but it's like where you're living accommodation, but also there's businesses all around and everything. So there's a lady who had like this store for making clothes. So I would always pass by there. I noticed she always had customers. I was like, this looks like a good business, by the way, that I can get into. And I was into clothes. So I was like, okay, fine, that seems pretty easy. So I went, I asked her, can she teach me? She charged me, I think something like 3,000 bob to teach me for a month. Making clothes is actually not that hard. I'll tell you that. Really? Yeah, it's actually not that difficult because patterns, like you can get them online and it's just more, it's literally this front part, back part, putting them together, you've made a top. You know what I mean? It's like, and then now it's just your creativity of how you differentiate like the fabrics and whatnot. So then I asked my mom to buy me a sewing machine and she got me a sewing machine. And I literally went from being a very broke university student to being a very wealthy one because those clothes used to make me something like 30, 40K per month, which at that time was a lot of money. I can tell you that it was like a lot of money. So for me, I was really happy. A lot of the things were like referrals. I would do random things like my mom's chama, or choirs, they need clothes, or people are going for a rurasio, sijui mother's union, I don't know, things like that. Those are real money makers, let me tell you that, because those old women, they really like to look nice and they really like to look together. So that was my first real business and I ran it for a few years, but at some point now I went to university in South Africa and I closed the business.
What did you do with that? What did you do with that 30, 40K a month?
I would just spend it. Because I was a university student, like ain't nothing I can say. But also I was a mom and my son was like on formula. I never used to want to ask my parents for extra money. His dad also used to support, but like a lot of the things used to go towards like helping, like supporting my son pretty much. Yeah. So like nice clothes and things like that. I didn't want it to be like, oh, you had this kid in university and she took a mtoi mwenye amelelewa university. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I wanted it to be like, no, you have a nice life. Exactly, yeah. So like even getting a better place to live, just like even a bit of travel here and there. Yeah, did I save any of it? Not a single coin, baby. Not a single coin. But anyway, it was a really nice university business. If anyone here is in uni, by the way, do yourself a favor and start a business. Anything. Even just buy even a smoky stand. Just do it. Yeah.
But then really their fellow students are already market.
You what?
Their fellow students are already market.
Actually, it's the best. Even in school when we would have cultural day, already I would have my posters up at cultural day. I can make for you a skirt. I can make for you what. It was really, really good business. Now, of course, I never used to sleep though because I never had employees. I was the one stitching everything myself in the evening after class. So that was a bit tiring, but Yeah, so that's where it started. And I think at that point, already in my head, even though I'd gone to do my master's in SA and what, in my head I was already like, the life and money of business, I didn't feel like employment could really compare. There's just a drive you have when everything, like you're making money with your own hands, literally. Like it just felt so amazing to me. But when I came back, I went into actual employment. And then I would say that my next real business that I got into is my platform, Murugi Munyi, which I know possibly content creators didn't look like it's a business, but it's a business. It's an actual business. It operates like a business with employees and inputs and profits and, even suppliers, because you get videographers and whatnot to do stuff for you. So I'd say that was my next real business. And that I think I started doing full time in 2018, I want to say. And since then, my gosh, I've had so many businesses. I remember in 2019 first. Was it 2019 or 2018? I had this business for selling plus size jeans. I don't think, were you following me then? Yeah, I think the page still exists now. If you search Yummy Plus, those of you who have been following me
But that was your business.
Yes, it was my business. It's called Yummy Plus, and it's because I realized women, especially plus size women, struggle with getting jeans. I found a guy in Gikosh. He would sell me those jeans for $100 bob. I would sell them for $1,000 bob. The margins were so good. Woo-wee! Hey, I missed that money. It was so nice because then I would get them. They're kind of dirty. You wash them nicely. You hang them up on a mannequin. That's a whole 900 bob you've made. It used to be such good money. And
were you handling the admin yourself? Like you take orders, dispatch?
Myself. Yeah. But remember, my platform wasn't the way it is right now. So it's not like, it wasn't as overwhelming. But sometimes like my sister would help me. My boyfriend then would help me. My boyfriend's mom would help me. Like everybody was doing what they needed to do. At some point now I went back to sewing. And now I would get I would buy, let's say I buy a denim jacket, which in Gikosh, you can get denim jackets even for 30 bob. Bet you all don't know that. I've been in the streets. I've been on the ground, okay? You'd get jackets for 30 bob. Uko chini, uko ndani. You go, you wash them, then I would add like a bit of ankara on them, like here, like a square here or a pocket thing here. There you sell it for 1,500, sell it for 2,000. Something I bought for 30 bob. Yeah. Exactly. That's why sometimes even when somebody is broke in Nairobi, I'm like, is it that you don't want money? Because you can literally find money anywhere. You go there because you can get the cheapest things. Yeah,
and resell. Exactly. But it's a mindset.
I guess it's a mindset. I would say it's a mindset. And maybe I just had the mindset because for me, I was just like, I just like money and I just want to have a lot of money and I want to live nicely. I want to live well. Remember, by that time I've come back, I'm still my son's,
primary provider.
So it's like I had to do something. So I did that for a while, but then I went into employment and then I was mostly focused on that. In 2020, I had already quit my job and I just had my daughter. And now it was I was kind of just bored at home and I came up with this idea to start selling alcohol. So I had a business called Luxury Liqueur. Again, if you bought from my business, thank you so much.
I bought from that business.
Did you?
I did in 2021.
We didn't know each other then. Fuck, you've been supporting me for the long haul, girl. Yeah, so basically it was just selling like lesser known or like unique. Yeah, unique. So it's like Baileys, but it's Baileys salted caramel, vanilla cinnamon, I don't know what. And I had all these different suppliers because my husband was in the industry at the time. And that was a really, really good business. Actually, it was quite awesome because drinks Isha. Somebody will buy today, tomorrow they have come back for another bottle because they finished it. And God bless alcoholics sometimes.
You sold that business to someone, right?
I did.
Is it still running?
I don't know if she still does it. I think at some point she said that she got saved and God convicted her about selling alcohol. Yeah, that happened. But anyway, yeah, so I ran that business for a while. It was really nice. But at some point I realized alcohol, like you can't run it fully successfully without a physical store. Kind of like people, the way you were saying about impulse buying, people really impulse buy. And I felt like to grow the business, I needed it to have a physical store. And I didn't even have that much storage and whatnot. I had this newborn. At some point, nikachoka tu nayo, sold it. But that was a really nice one. And then my husband and I built some rental apartments somewhere in Utawala. So then I guess I considered that now my other business. Although I don't know if I consider it a business, it just operates and we just get money.
It's a business. It's generating activity.
It is an income generating activity, exactly. And then we also opened some M-Pesa shops in Isli. People in Isli move money. Let me tell you that. People in Isli move money. So then we had that. And then
how did that idea even come to your mind? Let me open an M-Pesa shop in Isili.
So because my mother-in-law had this building that she had land there. She built this building. She gave it to some Somali guy who was like leased it for like a number of years or whatever. You know, people saying like these endless leases kind of. And one of the terms of the leasing thing is that we would have a shop. So we just had that empty space, and we're like, okay, what can we do with it? We do want something which we'd have to like really focus on that business. So yeah, then we just ended up having the M-Pesa shop.
I don't know that I would have come to that conclusion.
Yeah. I mean, I could have done anything, but you've seen how the shops in Isli are. There's like, they are first of all very tightly, they need together. And it just, in that particular building, there wasn't an M-Pesa shop yet. So it just made sense for us to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Wild is another business I opened in 2020. I want to say 2021.
Yeah.
Is that accurate? 2022?
Sure,
One of them. And it was a clothing store. I loved that business until I didn't. That's all I can say. I loved it until I didn't. The business started as a solution for plus size women, clothing for plus size women, because I realized I was a plus size woman then. I still am, I guess, to some extent. And I wanted to provide the kind of clothing that I was always looking for locally, but I couldn't find. And so I opened the business, but I quickly learned many things about that business that were wrong assumptions that I had made from the beginning. Yeah. So like things like assuming that plus size women don't wear tight short things because they don't have access to them. No, they don't wear them because they don't want to wear them because they're not feeling confident in their bodies. Not all of them, some of them. So some things now I was assuming, I ended up now selling even more like smaller people's clothing. And then I was just like, okay, it just feels like every other business. I just wasn't feeling so passionate about it. I closed that last year. I want to say. Was it last year?
2024.
Not 2023?
4. Yeah, I think it was
I'm
last
so bad
year.
with years and time.
The years are blurred,
They're
to be
all
honest.
really quite... In fact, I measure things usually with my kids. Like, how old was Ethan at that time? How old was this child? She had just been born. So then, So then that one closed. So this year, I started the love of my life business called the Lip Tribe. And I love it so much. And we basically offer lip care solutions for women. And I want to say men as well, because some men actually do buy as well. So for Kenyans, basically. And it basically provides globally iconic brands locally. So you're able to buy them here. And it started because I really love lip products. I noticed that a lot of the ones that I wanted to buy weren't locally available or were super expensive, or that I had to sift through so many other categories of skincare products to get to the lip care products. And I just wanted to have a business where I just only stock the lip care. And here we are, 7 months later, I've been running it.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Out of all of them, which one would you say was the most successful? And like by what metric? Would you say profit? Would you say...
I want to say most successful. Wow. I would say the uni one, the one for clothes. Because I feel like then it was almost like right now, of course, the money is more, like now it's in millions, but also what you're spending is in millions. Whereas then I literally, my seed capital, I think was like 2,000 bob or something like that. And from that 2,000, I was able to make 15,000. And from that 15,000, I was able to make 50,000. So I would say that based off of just the impact that it had on my life, I would say that one was the most successful to me. It also was the most laborious though. It was super tiring because it required me. In fact, I used to do everything from going to buy the products, doing the laundry for the products, taking the pictures, selling. I even used to go and deliver them myself to customers myself, because a lot of times, especially like with kitenge things, someone is going to try, they'll be like, oh, I need this adjusted here, I need this adjusted here kind of thing. I was the only employee in the business, so that one was really tiring, but I would say it was the most successful one. But this one now, I want it to be the successfulest one.
Do you already have another idea in mind for another business?
Girl, I was just telling my husband yesterday, tukiingia biashara ya nguo za watoto. Nguo za watoto. Let me tell you, whoever start that business, guys.
We had this conversation at the beginning.
By the way, me, that's a business I have to enter, because as a parent, I know myself, my kid may have 20 pairs of jeans, but I will see a cute pair of jeans and I'll be like, my child has to wear this one. There I know there's money.
But also between certain ages, you're literally buying new clothes all the time. All the time.
Perpetually, constantly. See, tuanzishe hiyo. Let's talk after this, because there I know, for sure I know there's money. The problem is that, another thing, the one for like matching sets for kids, those ones are the best. Every time my kids are matching sets from Shein or whatever, someone is always asking, where do I get this? Where do I get this? Yeah, and now the thing is that even though the world is very open, literally anyone can order from Shein or from Alibaba and get it. People are also lazy, to be honest. Like,
they want convenience. I want it now.
That's the thing, you see. And now people like us need to capitalize on other people's
wanting
laziness.
convenience.
That's it. Oh, wanting convenience. Yeah, you can call it
So that makes me segue into my next question, actually. So when before, once I kind of you're no longer in, like, not wanting to be in this business, would you say now you would transition to maybe offloading the management as opposed to completely offloading the business? So kind of get someone to fully manage the business for you, and maybe your input is just reviewing accounts, the money, all of that, but they run the business. Or maybe, okay, taking on a partner is different. No, but like getting someone to just run the business.
Like an ops manager or a COO or something like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, whenever I have fallen out of love with a business or because of like maybe the work involved or whatever, for some reason, I have just never thought about that. Because for me, part of like the excitement of running a business is running the business. Do you know what I mean?
Not the money.
I mean, the money, yes, but also like the day-to-day of like the actual running the business, and checking and say, where are the profits? What are we doing about this and whatever? Almost like it keeps me busy, but also it's like, that's part of the joy of it for me. So for me, I've never even thought about, in fact, the thought of hiring someone else to do that feels already like an additional burden, because now I need to manage you and see how you are managing it. And as someone who struggles even with the delegation and whatever, ask me why I have an SMM, but daily I schedule 4 posts. Daily I shoot 10 reels. And I have an SMM
that you're paying.
Exactly, right? And so I'm always just like I get it. It's like your job, but it's like I also kind of want it to be mine, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but like with Wild, for example, there are many lessons that I learned from closing that business. I think I could have gone in the direction of getting an operations manager, but I think by the time now I was even getting to the point of I just need to close that business. I had been frustrated for so long, that I was just like, I literally just don't want to see this business. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to whatever. I don't know if anyone has been in that situation, but I wish at the point at which I had started to sense my frustration with running it, that at that point I had been like, maybe let me get somebody in, kind of thing. I also feel like I wasn't there was not enough business resources that I was consuming for me to be like, to know that this is a normal thing that founders go through frequently, and that it's not just time for like, okay, fine, you're falling out of love with your business, just shut it down. Yeah. So I wish that I had done more research, and I wish I had taken action sooner before getting to the point of like, no, enough, I don't want to be here anymore.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think maybe it's partially because we're kind of trained to not express our feelings, and you feel like having such an emotion is like, it's something to be ashamed of, kind of, in a way. So you're not willing to face it, interact with it, until now it came and took over, and you're like, no way. So what? Because you see now you're coming up with a business idea, but realistically, where we are, will you be able to now start running that kids' clothing store? So what I think I'm trying to do
from the
next
beginning.
year, what I want to do is to train like an Emma grid of sorts, so that whatever businesses I start, they take on the operations, because we have so many ideas.
That's
so
the
many
thing.
and we know how to start them, but the operations is what you're like, okay, let me like take a break.
Also, is it a delusion of grandeur to just feel like nobody in my business can run my business like me?
It is ego, one.
Yeah, she said it as it is.
Ego, one, because to be honest, there's actually somebody who's way more qualified than you to do that job. So now imagine someone who's maybe done operations at L'Oreal. They've done operations at maybe like a Procter & Gamble company.
I don't have 5 million to pay somebody.
Where you're assuming like 5 million, one. Number two, they have way more experience than you. And in now like a properly structured company.
Yeah, having an Emma Grady would be fantastic, because just like a business mind would just be able to whatever, and you're just providing oversight. It almost sounds too good to be true.
Why?
I don't know.
Because if you think about it, Emma Grade exists. Like, we're pointing to her as an example because she exists.
She does,
although
but
she's more of a partner.
Of billionaires.
Yes, but how did she start out though?
How did she start out? I don't know. I assume she was already super wealthy before even she got into partnership with the Kardashians.
Not exactly. She was working like at another big company, and then that's how they ended up starting working together. But it's possible to find this person who becomes your operationalist, if that is even a word. Found? I am searching. Maybe one is in development.
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I love that. If I was to find such a person, I would honestly be so happy. But also, I know for a fact that I would struggle with letting go, releasing the reins, trusting that, okay, you got it, kind of thing. How do I know you're not stealing from me? How do I know you're not whatever? Also, Kenya, I don't know. It just breeds
you just
distrust.
Do 1,000,001 checks. You check the M-Pesa statements all of the time and all of the money. But also, someone said to run a business in Kenya, you have to budget for theft. So when it happens, you're already planned for that expense.
I honestly, these days I hold my breath. Like, at what point am I going to discover that somebody has stolen from me? You know what I mean? Oh, God, yeah. But anyway, I pray for all entrepreneurs wasiibiwe.
A quick pause. Let's hear a word from our partners over at Digitax. Running a business in Kenya is already like juggling so many balls and you almost feel like a clown in a circus. Good news is that Digitax is here to make this process a lot easier for all of us. They have a platform where you can easily create your invoices, send them to your customers or your suppliers, as well as be able to also verify any invoices that you receive. And it also allows you to view all of your historical data and they don't experience any downtime. Digitax is here to make this process of e-invoicing a lot easier and most importantly, carry compliant. Make sure to check the caption for details on how to sign up and you can easily access on your phone, your computer, your desktop or wherever you go. They're your tax assistant in your pocket. So just to dig in a little bit more into this decision to close Wild, can you maybe give a word of like, what would you say to that Murugi of like back then, like when you first got the emotion, to someone who's currently in that position of, I want to close this business. Should I close? Should I not close? And also I think worrying about what people will think is probably a huge part of the decision because there's also that perception of, okay, I'll probably think I'll assume I have failed. Yeah.
Okay, so that one is, for me, is not something that I struggle with, to be honest. It's like, okay, if someone thinks I've failed, sour. And then, like, so for me, that wasn't even playing a factor. At some point, I'd even thought, is it worth my happiness for me to keep this business open? That is one. It was, at that point, it was like we were making money, but not enough to justify the emotions that I was going through on a day-to-day basis. You know, when you start waking up in the morning, you've just opened your eyes, you're already in anxiety about the day. It's just like, oh God, at some point I was just like, no, literally it's not worth it. So if I could turn back time, I think the one thing that I would say is do more research. Like, so you're thinking about closing, is that the only option or are there other remedies that you can employ for you to be able to say, okay, fine, now for sure I want to close it? For me, my emotions in terms of how I just felt about what I was selling. So this is one of the things that made me fall out of love with my business. When I first started, there's a style of clothing that I wanted to stock, which was like more sexy, form-fitting, cute kind of like dresses, until I realized that mostly people just want maxi dresses. They want clothing that covers their arms, clothing that covers their legs. And when I would bring those other ones that I really liked and was passionate about, crickets. When I brought these maxi dresses that, you know, everyone is selling maxi dresses, they are selling out so instantly. So at some point, I looked around my shop and realized I don't like any of the clothes that I stock, that me, myself as Murugi, I wasn't wearing them, but people seemed to love them. So I felt like there's a disconnect now between me and the business because, you know, like with Lip Tribe, because I love lip products so much, I'm constantly advertising my business because I'm always using my lip products. With Wild, I really couldn't do that because those clothes were not clothes that I would wear. I don't really like wearing maxi dresses that much. I don't like covering my arms. Me, I'm like, if it's flabby, let's be flabby. Now, what are we gonna do? Even under that long sleeve top, they can tell you're fat. So why, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, why are we even hiding it? Yeah. So for me, I really was so disconnected from it. So if I could now go back to that time, at the point at which I had noticed that shift, I wish I had done something about it then. Like maybe created more of a balance of the kind of clothes I loved and had wanted to provide and the kind of clothes that the market was asking for. Because of course you can't also discount what they're asking for. But I would say this is something that I feel like you do really well in your business. I feel like you have a good balance of like trendy skincare things, but also you don't jump on every trend and like at every single thing that people are asking for. It's like, oh, we've stocked this new serum, we've stocked whatever. I feel like you're very targeted with the things that you stock, and I wish I had done that then. And then I think I was just maybe chasing profits because now it's just like everything is a maxi dress. Yeah, everything's flowy. Why? So advice to a person who's thinking about closing: just assess what are your reasons for wanting to close. Talk to a business therapist. Like, you know, your business, what's his handle? The business therapist. I wish I had known that someone like him exists. I would definitely have had a conversation with him then, because at that time I didn't even do assessment of numbers or what is the valuation of the business or whatever. It was just like, I'm tired, I'm done, close. And then I remember we did like a sale, like a 50% off sale. So I was like, I didn't go at a loss. I literally just got all my money back, plus some extra. But I wish I had done a bit more work to just like, sort through, think through, check, can I change sort of. Also with Wild, at some point, we had started in a smaller shop and had moved to a bigger shop. And this bigger shop, I was paying a lot of rent, but it wasn't justified by the number of sales, like I was telling you the card of the number of people who are actually coming to shop in store. So we used to try to do like a lot of like in-store promotions and whatnot, but still, even at the max, about 20% of our sales were coming from the store. And for me now, at some point, it's like, why am I having this store? And it's, like there's so much overheads. Like better you're paying 150K rent, your employees another 100K, and then, electricity, water,
licenses. Yeah.
Didn't this government promise us that now when they come in, we're not going to be having a million
There's a unified permit.
Yeah, and then
there's a unified permit.
It.
Yeah,
there's no event for fire
and
whatever.
Unified.
Okay, fine. See, now I don't have a shop, so I can't even tell you. But yeah, anyway, so I wish I would tell someone to do that. And then if someone decides to hang in there, have like exact remedies or exact like what actions are you taking to be able to address the things that have gotten you to the point of you want to close the business? Now, that being said, there's people who want to close a business because it's making a loss. I feel like if you're trying to close the business because it's making a loss, then yeah, if you've tried your hardest and you need the business to survive, like you need the business for survival, then definitely don't just hold on for nothing. You see, for me, it was a matter of joy. And
but
again, that's from a
valid.
point of privilege. Yeah, exactly. But if it's like someone who's like, no, I'm not going to have rent money to pay next month, that's a whole different conversation. Yeah.
If you had to start from scratch, but with all the knowledge you have now, which business or businesses are you building?
By the way, I had forgotten to mention the businesses that I run. I have an Airbnb, which was an Airbnb, but now it's a long-term rental place. Airbnb business is not for the weak. Let me tell you that. It's not for the weak. I don't will show you, Shege. But what business would I start? I think I would just do this one that I'm doing right now, because for me, the businesses that I'm running are in direct correlation to what am I loving at that time. Because for me, I just feel like life is so short. It's too short for me to be doing something that is not bringing me such joy. And for me right now, lip products bring me joy. I don't know what will be bringing me joy in a couple of years time, in 10 years time or whatever. So whatever it is that I would be enjoying at that time, I would just start that business. But I would say that I would start with systems and processes that can sustain the business in the long term. I remember with my earlier businesses, I'm writing everything by hand. You're calculating whatever's by hand. I went on YouTube and checked, okay, how do I price products? They're like, multiply by 2.5 and then you'll get the product. Or you check by whatever. I go and check people's websites. Okay, these people are selling 3,000. Okay, even me, let me sell 2,800 or something like that. Now I would be able to start from a point of knowledge of like, this is how you price products. I would invest in knowledge like centonomy and whatnot, because those are really, really helpful for knowing just what you are doing. And then I would hire people from the start who can fill in the gaps where I'm not able to. Like, I'm not really a financial thinker kind of person. Me, I'm the creative. Like, I know how to do the reels and the fun stuff. Yeah, but no, when you're asking me about what are you doing about the import taxes of KRA, I'm like, girl, I don't know.
Not my market.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that I'm still working on building right now, because I struggle. The thought of hiring wrong scares me. The thought really scares me. Like the thought that someone is going to dupe you in the hiring process, because people act when they're being interviewed. You really can't.
And even in their first 3 months of employment.
It's like men.
Girl, don't start that conversation.
It's true. At the beginning, everyone's just in their best behavior. Everybody acting like And then later on, I think that really scares me. The thought that I've hired someone and then now they're here and they are now feeding all the information to my competitors. They are sabotaging your business. They're doing what? Like, I'll never forget Mama Mudhoni sharing her story of how her employees were stealing from her. And she was like, this is a guy who she literally had taken from nothing. Like, she had literally built him. She had helped him through things, even helped his family. Then it turns out he had opened a till number, which is very similar to her till number. So her till number was something like Mama Mudhoni Foods. He had registered Mama Mudhoni Foods 1. So somebody is paying, and of course they're not thinking anything. So even if it's your friend, it's just like, okay, fine, this makes sense that I'm paying to Mama Mudhoni Foods, only to find that he had stolen millions from her, kind of thing. And it's like, of course you can't avoid all of as long as you're trusting anyone, there's a risk of that. But, oh my gosh.
I think maybe what I sometimes try to tell myself is like, there's only so much oversight and control I can have, but also regular audits are really important. But I'm like, I trust God to protect what's mine. And if unfortunately someone steals from me, it's going to be really painful, but maybe I learned my lesson, but for sure the money will come back. But it's because I like, for how long will you be able to try and control everything?
That's the thing. But you see, unfortunately, no, this is unfortunately or fortunately, but the smaller the business is, the easier it is to control. You see, now when you have 20 employees, how many employees do you have? 30, 40,
Not 30,
50?
no,
Okay, fine.
they're like 17.
Right. The more you have, the more it just feels like there's so many more moving parts, which if you're an anxious person, already that just is giving you so much. Like right now where we are, I definitely need to hire another customer service rep, because we really, especially on days when we have sales or whatever, she gets so overwhelmed and we usually have to bring someone temporary in, and I just want to have someone permanent. But already even just the thought of hiring another person, I'm already like, oh God. In fact, this one was someone who I had hired at Wild. So of course it made sense to me. It's just like, yeah, oh, I've worked with you, I know you, kind of thing. Now the thought of doing it, I don't know. I wish we could just only focus on the things in business that you just love and just want to focus on, and then everything else just kind of like
Figures itself out.
that would be approved. That would be really lovely.
If only. Now that you've actually brought up the conversation about money, I'm curious. Do you usually have like a monthly money meeting, even if it's just with yourself, to review the numbers now with the businesses now and especially content creation? And what are some decisions you've made from looking at those numbers? Some recent decisions.
Right. So for Murugi Munyi and for my podcast, oh, that's another business. TMI podcast, KE, from the top 5 of podcasts in this country. Just like this one is gonna be. Amen. Hello. So for TMI, we do review with my partner Lydia. So we'll usually, it's not really a formal thing, but sometimes we'll just look at our account and be like, hey, by the way, you have money. Wow. Hey, by the way. And with different businesses, I feel like my money personality is different with different businesses. So with TMI, we often don't take money out of the business. It usually is just there. It just runs the business, and all the extra that is there, it just stays there. We hardly ever pay ourselves from it. Yeah, I know. But it's because we just
At least put it in an MMF or something.
I know, but like we utilize it sometimes. Then once in a while we're like, hey, by the way, let's just send ourselves something. Then now we take, sometimes it's like we get this huge payment and we send ourselves. So we don't really have like a set one focus. For both of us, this is not like our primary income earner. It's just a happy bonus kind of thing. So we usually don't take from it. For Murugi Munyi, we usually review monthly with my assistant, and we usually will check, okay, how much do you make from big brands? How much did we make from, let's say, master classes or whatever? How much do you make from small businesses? And sometimes we make decisions like in certain months, we are not able to do certain kind of work. So like in December, I'm not able to do as many small businesses as I usually do because the big brands are a lot. But what that usually means is like you've done more work, but big brand payment is not like small businesses. Small business, I'll put the ad right now. In 10 minutes, I've gotten the money. So it's very cash heavy. But with the big brands, it's like, yeah, it's more money, but it's coming in February or in March on my birthday. So that's great. So we make decisions such as that. And it's like we're able to forecast. For Lip Tribe, so I recently got an accountant, and he has been instrumental, at least in showing me, guys, the way I do business, you can think it's just this bedroom operation, by the way, because I'm just like, I know I'm making money because I bought these products at 1,000 bob and I've sold at 3,000. See, of course I've made money, because how can I not have made money? There must be. And if I look at my account, I can see there's money there. So I know that I've made money. But if you ask me now like specifics of actually, this is the profit, this is how much the margins or whatever, it can be difficult. But so now the accountant has been helping us see like, okay, fine, this is how much you're actually making. This is revenue, but this is what you're actually making in profit. This is how your the cost of doing business is looking and whatever. And that's been helpful. One of the most recent decisions I've made with Lip Tribe is that I've realized I never get to actually sit with the profits because I'm constantly adding new products to our portfolio. Because when we first started in May, and this is a very ChatGPT business, because I remember I had asked it, okay, Chat, how many products do I need to start with? How many brands do I need to start with? And it was like, oh, you should just start with like 5 main ones. So I was like, okay, fine, let me choose 5 main ones. Until you realize even those 5 main ones, it's a lot of money.
And also because Lip has so many SKUs between tints and shades and all of.
So you can imagine, let's say one brand like Asama Fridays has like 11 flavors already. Now you have like 3 of each, let's say minimum 3 of each. So that's 3 times 11, that's already 33 just of this one brand. Then you go to the next one, then you go to the next one. So since then, because I only started with about 5, I've been now like adding products. But now recently it's reached a point where my team even had to tell me,
stop.
I think
yeah.
So what we realized, especially when we did the pop-up, is that many clients, first of all, it's overwhelmed because it's like there's just so many. How do I know? This one is hydrating. It's also hydrating. This one has a red tint. This one also has a red tint. But of course, because I'm an enthusiast, I can tell you all the very tiny differences between each of them and help you choose. But for the ordinary client, maybe they get really overwhelmed. So they've told me to kind of stop. So that's a business decision I've made recently. But it's difficult.
I understand, but then you have to remove the emotion from it. So I was watching an episode of Shark Tank earlier, and I think this guy was selling like some kind of game, right? And so I asked him, so what do you need the money for? Because you seem like you're doing pretty okay. And he says, I want to make another mold. So I think the mold is now what will create now the next units of the game, like a different variation. And so Laurie was telling him, but okay, how much inventory do you have right now? And he's like, around 10,000 pieces. And she was like, you don't need another mold because that's just going to bring you even more inventory. And she's saying a lot of entrepreneurs, a pitfall that we fall into is the inventory section. You just want to spend more money, bring more inventory. But the whole point of the business is to make money. So clear the inventory you already have. And then let the customers tell you if you need another mold or not. Because she's like, why are you deciding this? Is like, no, I just feel like to be good. It's like, but the business is not for you. It's for your customers. Anyway, I'm going to do a mini-sode on inventory.
I think we need to, because this is my two questions that I would say to that is one, does Sephora think like that?
But Sephora is a retailer.
I'm a retailer.
Sephora,
what am I?
The difference is Summer Fridays probably give Sephora inventory. Sephora probably pays even on consignment after they've sold, like supermarkets. So supermarkets don't really incur a lot of capital up front because they pay suppliers later. So, and because Sephora is such a huge brand, they're probably able to negotiate terms that are really good for their bottom line. So they're using your money to make money for themselves and then they pay you later.
Right,
so
because I've not paid you in advance.
You're paying inventory upfront, so it's holding up a lot of cash at the same time. So maybe something to think about.
Right. Okay. So that's my first question, which you've answered very well. My second one would be me as a consumer. For example, I really love Summer Fridays, and you know how these American brands, literally, I don't know how people survive in America because you blink, they have launched a new flavor. You blink, they have a new SKU, they whatever. So if I'm caught between like, okay, I want to make more money, but I want to be able to provide that choice or that variety to my audience, to a Summer Fridays consumer, and they have seen that this new one has launched. I want them to be able to get it at my store. You know what I need to.
I'd say maybe give it a budget every month. Maybe say every month I have a budget of maybe 100K for new items. That way also it gives yourself like a cap. So this month I've already gone overboard with new items. But I think also we need to try and work on churn just as quickly because inventory turnover is really important also to the money because you don't want the money just sitting. So maybe have a rule. If you bring in a new product, it has to clear within a certain amount of time. So that you're able to keep bringing them back. That way the money keeps multiplying instead of multiplying how much money is sitting in the store. Right. Because that is also an expense.
Oh my God. You're right. I never think of inventory as an expense though. Is inventory because now it's like once it's here, this is me, I see it as like when I see my lip products, I'm just saying this is money. I have money. It's just not money yet, but it's money.
It is an expense, especially when it overstays its shelf life. So actually something my operations manager has been drilling into me lately because he keeps telling me every time he goes to bed and thinks about how much money we have in inventory. He's so troubled.
I can't begin to imagine.
Because if you think about it, maybe you have $1 million worth of goods in inventory, right? About 300K is very slow stock. Maybe it's taking you, actually, and now we have figures of run rate. Run rate is how long it takes to sell the product. If the run rate of this product is a year, you've lost money. So if let's say you have goods worth 1 million, 300K is stock that you've had for about a year. On the flip side, you have 100K of a fast mover. This product, you bring 60 pieces this month, they sell in 20 days. You bring 60 pieces, they sell in 20 days. But you have periods that you keep running out because there's not enough cash flow in the business because some of it is being held by this dead stock. Imagine if you freed up that 300,000 that's being held by dead stock to buy only fast movers, then your strategy is you buy only enough that you need between the land and when you're able to get new stock. That way, you keep the same money recycling and recycling and recycling. So you'll use the same 300 to generate more and more money as opposed to using a lot more money to generate. Is that making sense?
It is making sense. But so now what do you do if you have this slow moving stock and it's just there now?
So that's why you need to create rules to avoid slow movers moving forward. So maybe you can say if an item sits in inventory for longer than 3 months, it goes on clearance. Whether you can always try maybe at a significant discount. If they're not moving, do at cost, they leave. Because you can imagine you probably have a fast mover that you need to restock, but there's no money because it's being held by this product in inventory.
So to write that in my notes so that there's some products which I just look at and I'm like, and the most frustrating thing as a business owner is a product which I love, which I think is really good. And I'm like, you people, You're not buying it. You don't get it. This is such a good. Yeah, sometimes it just really frustrate me so much. But yeah, and the thing is that you can only know when now you have the product here that okay, people are not really buying
liking it. Yeah. So that's why I
Exactly.
only start with small amounts actually. So you'd rather start with maybe 3 pieces and then you sell out, then you know, okay, there's interest, as opposed to buy 20, then you sit with 20.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. There's a product I bought 20 when we first opened.
And you still have
16
20.
of them are looking at me right now.
You should do a clearance sale in December, even if it's at cost, because then you'd rather free up that capital.
You know, you're actually so right. Yeah. And now another thing with inventory for me is I struggle to order anything less than 5 pieces. I just feel like 5 should be the minimum of anything that someone should order.
Me, this day I'm so judged by inventory right now. I can buy 2, one for Lavington, one for CBD.
Are you serious?
Yes.
But you don't feel me. I usually feel like if I buy more less than 5, then I've already sold those 2. I'll feel so bad when I have somebody DMing me saying, "Oh, please."
How does your account feel when your money is tied up in inventory?
Oh, are you not to? Do you guys cuss on this podcast because? But yeah, that is definitely something. Another thing that I need to stop doing is like sometimes because of now over buying inventory is like even if the money from sales has issued, now I'm taking from my own account to now
And you keep record of that.
I do not, but now my accountant has said I definitely need to do that.
Yeah, there needs to be a contract that you have loaned the company money and it needs to pay you back.
I know. Actually, now at this point, at the 6-month mark, he's like, actually, stop now taking. If you haven't made enough sales to make the order for the next one, sorry, you're not buying. You have to just wait for when the next money comes in. Yeah. And then paying myself, because I have yet to pay myself even once from my business. But for me, it's like, I don't know, maybe like at the 1-year mark, perhaps.
Assign it a purpose and that will force you to.
Like what?
Maybe you can buy property or something, or you can decide this is paying my portion of Ethan's school fees. So then, because school fees has to be paid,
You're right. You
you're
have
gonna
to
pay
take it.
So assign it a responsibility you're maybe covering now from somewhere else, or you want to upgrade your car. So say, okay, now this business is responsible for upgrading the car. So this money has to go into that account every single month.
You're right.
Yeah.
But you did start off doing that.
No, I didn't. It's easier to say than to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say, do you feel like with every business you open, do you consider yourself still a starter founder, or does it feel like you're starting now at class 5? Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're starting at class 1.
I feel like it's a mix of both, because some seasons you can't really skip per se. So for example, with Sage, I've learned to manage the money better. I've payroll, all of those things are things already I have on lock and stuff like that. But like training the team to stop bringing me small things is something like I can't skip that part. I have to keep training them. Don't tell me when a door is broken. What do you want me to do with that? Find a fundi and fix the door, right? But you see, for them, like this is a new business, and that are like we've not really established that dynamic of what to bring to me and then what not to bring to me. So I think there's some things you can skip and some things you can't. Establishing company culture.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this is not a place we cuss at people. This is not a place where you can just, do anything the way you want. Like that takes time for them to learn. This is how things generally work at this business. So I'd say it's maybe a combination of both.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like a frustrating thing about being a founder is like the more you found, the more like starting again you're starting, and then all different businesses are so different. I remember after I closed Wild, I was like, I will never again have a business where I have to do sizes of things. I will never.
But now you have one people have to try on to see the color. So are you going to open testers for all of those different products and the different shades and the different? Do you remember asking me that question a few months ago?
Now, as I'm afraid to sell for 5,000, 10 of them, that's 50,000. That is just there as testers.
Nazitaisha, and you'll have to replenish.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, these are some of the hidden costs, like in business. But I would say with Sage, it's still very much at that beginning part, because I'm still funding it from my pocket. Like, okay, not really funding from my pocket, but some like equipment I have removed money from my savings to go ahead and then buy for the business. But I've given it a timeline of like from January 2026. If a business does not have money, it can wait.
Honestly. Did you ever get those VTs that some supplier did you dirty?
Go. We're still in court.
Oh my God. Oh, Godspeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
I'll be in prayer.
So, I have 2 more questions for the main segment, and then we do quick fire questions. If you had to market your businesses without social media, what are you doing?
I'm a stay-at-home wife and I'm not in business. Gotta be honest. Actually, I feel like I love my platform accords me like a certain level of, it's not I'm not going to make zero sales. Do you know what I mean? So even when I was thinking about starting Lip Tribe, it's like I already know that I have this platform that I know I'm not starting at zero. So by the time when the business was starting, I'm already at 10K followers. So I know I'm somewhere. If I did not have social media, I would hire someone like you. I mean, I would pay for, you to market for me on your platform.
No, social media does not exist. So think we're maybe in the 70s, the 80s.
Oh, wow. Okay, then I feel like then a physical location would definitely be a must. I feel like brick and mortar. I would definitely have a physical store, or at least a location where people can come and interact with the products. And maybe in a place that there's a lot of footfall. Probably. So like maybe somewhere like a mall or something like that, somewhere where there's other businesses that relate to women that, they would just have to, like this, someone selling clothes or whatever, then you just happen to have whatever's there. I would do a lot of door-to-door kind of thing, like giving flyers or whatever. I remember when I was in, was it uni or like past uni, I had this boyfriend who had a business of like providing Wi-Fi. I don't know how he would provide the Wi-Fi, but I remember then I was such a lovely girlfriend. I was like, oh, I can make for you a poster. So I created for him this nice poster. We printed them and we went like round to all his neighbors. He even lived in high rise, so there was so many neighbors. We would go just leaving flyers under the door, and I was like, this is actually really effective, by the way, because like someone would see and just be like, oh, I live in this block, come put for me Wi-Fi. I live in this block, come put for me Wi-Fi. Did I ever see a coin of that money? I didn't.
But you supported someone's dream, and that matters. Actually, Wi-Fi marketing is a thing. You know how at the airport, they make you sign in to use the Wi-Fi? The people who actually sell the service or you can get, I think they do something to your Wi-Fi. When people sign in, you can market what you want on that thing. Yeah.
But that's also social media.
Internet.
Kind of. Yeah. How else do people...
Billboards. Physical activation.
When was the last time a billboard made me buy? Actually, recently I saw this billboard for those Ola crisps, and I was like, I haven't had those in a while. They're so delicious. I should go and get one. So actually, yeah, sometimes it does.
I think what billboards do, they help keep a product top of mind. So when you think you're buying it, then that's probably the new reach for. So like there's a time, this road that comes down from Junction, what is it called? This one, down that has the dip. There are a lot of creative billboards for Clean It. I don't know if you remember.
And I love them. Even now, there's still some
they're
Clean It.
still
And
there.
I love those.
So when I need this thing for wiping from the supermarket, that's what I'm picking. Because I'm like, you all did a good job with that.
Why haven't you done first a bit square billboard then?
So
let me call your operations manager right now and be like,
maybe it's in the box.
Maybe. Come on. Yeah.
Right. Quick fire questions. Okay. When is the last time you took a day off?
Day off? I don't understand that language. What to me?
Like not working. Like you're not shooting content for Lip Tribe or for yourself or doing a live.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But does it count really? Because for me, when I'm shooting content, let's say like Sundays, most Sundays, I consider it like a day off, but like I'm shooting the things that I'll post in the recap at the end of the day. Does that count as working?
Yeah, that's work. That's income generating activity. But what Robert was actually saying earlier is, okay, so this question stems from like burnout and how a lot of founders experience burnout. He was saying most people who burn out, it's from doing things that don't fill your cup.
Right.
So maybe because you are in businesses that, they make you happy, they give you joy, and you're not doing as many of the tasks that you're like, I don't like this. Maybe that's why,
Maybe it is. However, I feel like the times when, like the last time that I feel like I took a break is 2 years ago when we went to Joburg with my family, and I was still creating content, but I wasn't like posting and actively like interacting with people online. And there was a day I remember in that season that I literally just realized how tiring it is to be posting all the time and like to interact with people all the time. But because at the time I'm doing it, it's also joy bringing. Like it makes me happy and it brings joy, but it does require effort and energy. And sometimes I feel like I just don't realize how much effort and energy it's taking from me to be able to do it, even though it does bring me joy. And then at that time I made a pact with myself to take days off. Have I taken a day off since then? I haven't.
But last year you also took some days off during Christmas, right?
I did. But now if you're saying day off is also not creating content, then no.
Then never. You've been working since you could work.
This family trip. Maybe this family trip you could find that And you? When was the last time you took a day off?
This podcast is about you.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, Yvonne was like, tomorrow I'm taking a day off. I'm not even going to do anything. By lunchtime, here is a morning in my life vlog. I was like, yeah, day off indeed.
I took the next day off. I did work. I worked.
Of course.
What's the last thing you did for fun?
The last thing I did for fun. Does working out count? It's just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun.
Swimming, I guess. On Sunday, I went swimming with my family. That was fun. I would say that was just for fun. Yeah.
Okay. What's one thing you struggle with that you wish more people talked about?
Business-wise?
Anywhere. Could be personal, it could be family, it could be business. It could be picking a lip product.
Delegating. I feel like, but people do talk about it, but I really struggle with delegating. And it keeps you in a cycle of like, you don't want to give someone else to do the work, but you need the help. So you end up having too much work to do, and then you're getting frustrated, getting overwhelmed. And if you're just given someone to help you do it to begin with, then you wouldn't be getting so overwhelmed. So I do struggle with delegating. Interestingly enough, in my personal life, I don't. But in business and work, I do. So even things that like my PA can do, I find myself doing them. And then sometimes I'm with you, I'm with Lydia, and you're like, oh, just ask Nancy. And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a PA, and that's literally like what her job is like to help me do these things, kind of thing. So that's something that I struggle with. But I try to actively recognize when I am doing something that I am currently paying someone else to be able to do. And then I try to arrest myself.
Maybe what you can do, we've done an episode on this, keep a list in your notes app when you catch yourself doing something that Nancy could do, and then maybe tell her as part of your monthly meetings to have you guys sit and review that list. So that now once you be given it to her, she can start to systemize some of these things and see how she can help. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. What does success look like for you now versus when you're first starting out?
Success looks like freedom of time. Freedom of my schedule, which the business therapist told us. My calendar is my slave, not my master. Although I'm starting to feel like the freedom of time is it's a lie, because we all want to be entrepreneurs. What was he telling us? We all want to be entrepreneurs so you can determine your hours, but when was the last time you took a break?
But that's an us problem. It's not the business problem.
It is an us problem, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so it looks like freedom of time, freedom of my schedule, being able to attend my kids' recitals or picking them up from school or football games or whatever at whenever, and not having to ask anyone, please, can I do it? It looks like a lot of money in my bank account. It looks like driving my dream car. It looks like being able to buy things that I want without necessarily having to check the price tag. And it looks like peace, and I guess joy. That sounds very Christian, but it really is that. It's like peace. When I wake up, I'm just like, I'm at peace, and it looks like I'm happy to be doing what it is that I'm doing. Yeah.
So interesting. Like, I think we've had you the third or fourth guest. Third guest. Third. I think that word has come up, I think, every single time. Peace. Yeah.
And it's really the biggest thing, because you see with Wild, I was making money there, but there was no peace. I did not have peace. Like, I was anxious, I was unhappy, I was disconnected and whatever, and was literally the definition of that business. At the end, by the time I was closing it, I had no peace at all. And the peace of mind that I got after the day now we had said, no, it is closed, I think I slept for like 16 hours, let me tell you. I think I slept. And at that point, I was just like, really, there's no amount of money that you can trade your peace for, because it'll be for nothing, pretty much. So yeah, peace, absolutely premium.
If you had the ability to make a universal law that everyone must follow, what would it be?
My God. Woo-wee. A universal law that everyone must follow. Not in business, in anything. I feel like that one requires a lot of thought, Yvonne. Will you say yours first?
Everyone must be in therapy.
Damn. Me, it would be something to do with kindness. Everyone must be kind to other people. That's just, if there's one thing which I always scream to my kids, is like, just be kind, be kind. It would be something to do with kindness. But I feel like if I give that much more thought, I could come up with a deeper answer. You want everyone to go to therapy? What if some of us were healed, we're okay? What if we are fine?
So the last question is 2 parts. So what is a question you'd like the next guest to answer? Then also the last guest left a question for you. So you can tell me the question first, and then I'll tell you the question that they left for you.
I love that. What a nice concept. The question I would want the next person to answer is, what is your biggest regret in business so far? And what happened, and like, why do you regret it? I guess that's what.
Right. So the question that was left for you is, so it started the statement that what is most important in life is knowing what is most important. So what's most important to you?
My family. Yeah, my family is definitely most important to me. At the end of the day, I feel like everything I do is for them. Everything that I want to achieve is for them, and them being part of the them, like us as a collective. Yeah, everything, all the decisions that I make, all the things that I involve myself in, everything that I strive for is all for the betterment of my family. My family is what's most important to me. Yeah, it sounds like a Robert question. It is.
Thank you so much for coming on set, giving us your time and your knowledge and your wisdom. This was great. Thank you for watching the Founder Diaries. Make sure to subscribe and see you guys on the next one. Bye. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Beauty Square KE. Beauty Square was my first full-blown business and the brand that pulled me into entrepreneurship and shaped so much of what I share here. In many ways, this podcast is an ode to that journey, the lessons, the growth, and the courage to start before everything was figured out. At Beauty Square, we're passionate about helping everyone become a skin expert, offering authentic products from TikTok favorites to proven solutions for acne, dark spots, and more, with a team ready to guide you through all the right choices. Visit us at our CBD or Lavington branches for expert treatments like facials, waxing, body scrubs, and massages from our sister brand, Sage. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at beautysquare.ke and at Sage Skin, spelled SAGESKNN. And thank you for tuning in.